Hello and welcome to session 5 of our Hearts of Wulin campaign, 5 of 8. This is a set of sessions that comes out of the Hearts of Wulin Kickstarter, and Stephen has handpicked his players, and so that is where we are at. Let me kind of frame up where we're at. Then I want to come around and check on everybody's entanglements. And if I've missed key elements that you think are on the table, we can talk about those. Last time, the group followed up on tracking down Unending Veil, who is a member of this organization, the Unbroken Brethren, that had been among the attackers on these various houses. They're searching for portions of this manual that comes from a villain named Eyeless Waterfall. Lots of people have been killed as a result of this, and it was discovered that both the Unbroken Brethren and the Serene Mother Midnight were kind of colluding to carry out this operation, but also kind of playing against one another. And there was another figure, a woman, who seemed to be manipulating things behind the scenes, and is in fact the woman who killed your mother following that, and Lady Twilight Summer's aunt. And that was information that you were able to draw out from that. I believe other key things are that Yingling blew off his brother, even though he had made appointments to go and talk to him. But there's still also the sort of hanging matter of Red March's daughter, who has your bell. So you have a couple of things that are on your table. We also discovered that Miss Feng is in fact Bramblebeard Yumin's daughter, a strange daughter. That was a revelation that came towards the end of the session. And then the other big thing was we got our PbtA, Zhang's son, is on site now, spent time with his father. And I believe that where we kind of wrapped up was everybody attending the funeral services. When we pulled back and we saw a mysterious figure or two, I suppose, probably lots of mysterious figures on rooftops watching this whole thing go down. Let's start. Jim, let's look at your entanglements. Are you still good with both of those?
Yeah, and in fact, I feel like my entanglement with Miss Feng becomes even more entangled by finding out that she is actually my master, who refuses to be called my master's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's great. And certainly my concern over my sister has only been heightened by recent events. So she's in serious danger given everything that's going on, and I have to make sure that I keep her out of harm's way. So I think that's excellent.
Fair enough. I want to mention two things. One, you're 1 point away from an advance, as I can see there. So you're one bad roll away from getting better.
It's true.
The other thing I want to mention is I made an adjustment in the playtest rules to the Proud Youth. Just simply inserted an additional clause on there for the 10 plus. Essentially, on a hit, they tell you what to do. On a 10 plus, they reveal their own secret connection to the problem.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
To make that great. Have some more weight to it. So that's been added to that. Okay, well, I think we're good with where you're at. Rich, Yingling, our Bravo, are you good with your entanglements, or do you want to shift any of those?
Even though I did blow off Gang in the last, I mean, there was important stuff going on. Okay. But I do like that entanglement. I'm not sure that we've gotten any play out of Eileen or really the entanglement with Lady Twilight Summer. I mean,
Do you
it's with another PC, and I do like having an entanglement, but it just hasn't gotten any use.
do you want to maybe switch to? I mean, we've got that both Red Marsh Daughter or Little Hopping Crow. We've got them
I
on the
mean,
table.
I'm in worldwide wrestling terms. I'm feeling a lot of heat with
Okay.
Red Marsh Daughter.
Okay.
I think that
Yeah.
might be a way I want to go for now, and because we can always change these around, right?
Yeah. And I think your fellows might be bothered if they found out that you were attracted to or entangled with
Attracted
Red
to?
Marsh.
No, she just stole my bell, guys. She rung my bell and stuff. That's not attraction.
Fair enough. And you're also at 7 of 8
I am.
for that.
Don't
So
worry.
you are one bad roll away.
I'm leaning towards bad rolls right now. I'm warming up the virtual die roller.
Also, you burned all your bonds. So you're at no bonds.
I
So
know.
just to remind you that that's the thing that you can do with scenes is to essentially do that comfort and support to try and build up those bonds for yourself.
Thank you. I will try to bond.
Okay. Master Shang, you're going to get an advance, right? You're at 8 of 8, correct?
Yes, I think I'm going to boost my fire from -1 to 0.
That makes sense. That evens things out. And the other entanglement, that thing I didn't mention in the start, is Thundernail Daughter, the magistrate, who I think will bring certainly on stage as the funeral closes. We can kind of take up in the aftermath of the funeral if you want to interact with her. Does that seem reasonable?
Yeah. Yes, and hopefully Pei will get into some serious trouble this session.
Absolutely. And then finally, Lady Twilight Summer. Are you happy with your entanglements, or do you need to do anything changes you want to make to those?
I think they're both working out pretty well. Shun remains hot as fuck, and this magistrate keeps trying to arrest me. So
That's right. So we have those on the table, and you are at 6 of 8. So a lot of people close to advances on that. So I would like to take up the episode. Last episode ended with the funeral starting. We take up late in the day. Probably the sun has set. Guests have left, but there are other people that are around, friends of the family, friends that are still mingling about, and certainly improper sort of investigator detective ways. Thundernail Daughter is there, clearly observing the crowd and so on. And Zhang, you will hear her, giving her respects and maybe asking a few extra questions of the servants that are on the grounds, that maybe perhaps they might have overlooked something, maybe not, maybe forgotten some detail, no matter how minor, that they might have seen the night of the attack that they could share. And her voice echoes for you. What do you do?
I mean, I think I am going to trail her at a distance. Like it's far enough away that she wouldn't suspect me of eavesdropping, but my ears are sharp enough that I'm able to pick this up. I mean, I'm still very puzzled because she's clearly my wife, but she seems to be completely ignorant. It's of that. So I really don't understand what's going on. This is like something supernatural almost.
And you will hear her stop, and she confers with a male voice that you will associate with Shijia, the police magistrate who you spoke with before. And you can tell that she is giving him orders, and that his back is slightly up about it. But she will say, to him, it is vital that we find out what has happened to Chun Bao. I know that you and your associates have had their hands full given what has gone on, but that needs to be job number one at this point. If Chun Bao is involved with his wife's death, then we need to ascertain that. If he is a victim in this, then we need to see what we can do about rescuing him. And Shijia goes, we know that the Serene Mother Midnight are involved with this. They are our dread villains. If you would just let me, just give me, troops, we would raid their locations. And she's, no, that is not what we're going to do. I've given you your orders. And you'll, he kind of grunts and moves off. And you'll hear her kind of tapping her fan in that way that you do when you're kind of standing and thinking about what next to do.
My wife did that. Yeah.
What do you just stand there and listen? Do you go to approach?
I mean, I think I will approach her and I'll bow respectfully.
I do want to ask you a question here before we move forward. It's my recollection that you didn't have Pei come with you, or did you? I can't remember.
I mean, I think I said that. I think I didn't, but it makes more sense for him to be here, I think.
Okay.
So
then we'll have that in just a moment here.
Yeah.
Master Zhang, the diligent bee shrine master.
Yes. Thundernail daughter. I understand that you are investigating the affairs which have lately consumed this city, and I was wondering if I might be of any assistance. I and my companions have been making our own investigations and would be happy to help you in any way possible.
Well, given that I have not entirely cleared you as a perpetrator of these events, I'm not sure that that is entirely wise.
And I shrug slightly. Surely, if I am innocent, then the quickest way to establish that is to share what I know so that you can find the true perpetrator.
Let's have you roll hearts and minds here.
Okay. I'll roll with. Oh, I've got that marked.
Yes.
I'll roll with wood. Snake eyes.
She turns to you and says, there will be no need for that. I have been informed that you are the father of the merchant Pei.
I am.
Do you know where your son is right now?
When last I saw him, he was paying his respects to the family just a few moments ago.
On the grounds.
Indeed, if I would assume so.
That is most fortuitous, as I have a warrant here for his arrest.
On what charge?
That is a matter for the imperial authorities.
Well, if you will excuse me, I must find my son, and I presume when the imperial authorities find him as well, they will inform him of the charge against him. I assume justice has not been transformed to such an extent that he would be held without being informed of that.
I do not care for your tone, Master Zhang.
You must forgive a caring father.
Go ahead and mark wood, and I'm going to cut away from there. Yingling, the Gloaming Orchestra is there with you. They're packing up their instruments from the performances through the day. Who's your senior amongst the Gloaming Orchestra?
Let's see. We have a bunch of red colored things, so let's find something. Ooh, the 8th Guardian, the number 8, 8th Guardian.
Yeah. And that refers to eighth notes. So he will approach and he will say, "You've gotten our pay, right?"
Of course. Let me go retrieve it.
Okay. He says, "I don't know. This is a very fancy household. Should we now make ourselves scarce, or are we going to be allowed to perhaps eat on the leavings of the buffet?"
I set this up. 8th Guardian. Of course we will be able to eat from the buffet.
Okay. And he does this gesture that you recognize as the hand sign for spread out and get as much food as you can. And your people, like, they're out, everywhere to gather things, and buns are in pockets and that kind of thing. And they're doing that. And he will say, "I'll leave it to you to go and get our pay."
Of course. And then I'll go try to get our pay.
Would you go to the like remaining high servant? Would you go to following Bat? Would you go to Lily Twilight Summer?
Ooh, following Bat seems like a good person to ask about for money. He's sad, so he'll probably hand us more.
Following Bat, the funeral is over. There's a moment where you have a chance to reflect. You're still deeply worried about lots of things, right?
I have endeavored through all of this to behave in a manner that will make my sister proud of me. And if this is a thing where I can roll impress,
I like that. Yeah.
for having, like this is a public ceremony, all eyes are on me as, the man of the house and stuff like this. And I've been working very hard to remember, my etiquette lessons and proper, deportment and all that kind of stuff and everything. Every now and then glance over to my sister to, just to see and if she's given me any hints at all how I'm doing and stuff, but just very much trying to make sure that I am, that I represent the family well.
I think that is perfect. Let's have you go ahead and roll that. What do you want to roll that with?
I'm gonna roll it with wood, patience, patience and growth, as I learn to, kind of trying to feel my way in this new role here. Let's see what we got here. So that is, no, it didn't roll properly. Let me try again here. There we go. So that's 6 plus 2 is 8.
8.
And I'm gonna burn my bond with my sister.
Ooh, punch it up to a 10 then, right?
To punch it up to a 10, yes. Because this, like, if ever there's a situation where it was totally appropriate for me to burn my bond with my sister for this, I feel like this is it.
So, we'll let your sister decide her reaction to this, but everyone else here is impressed. Like, the servants are maybe they had some lower expectations about you, given your role as a scholar, but they see you step up. The other guests of the family are somewhat reassured that there are two strong heads to this household. It is in the hands of people who know what they're doing, and even perhaps Yingling will be somewhat impressed as he approaches. And what do you want as your picks from those options?
I am going to clear the element that I have marked.
Okay.
So
And-
that I'm going to clear water, so that I am like this has centered me. All of my elements are at my disposal again now. And when Yingling approaches, I just like as he's approaching, I say, Yingling, yes, thank you. Your performance was, my mother would have enjoyed it very much.
I'm very sorry she wasn't here. Following that, you honor me with your compliments.
But my compliments will not pay your rent. And I grin, and I turn and walk over to like a box or something that I pull open, and drop some coins into a bag and pull the bag, drop the put the lid back down, walk over, and I say, this is the agreed upon amount.
Yes, thank you for the agreed upon amount. You're very honorable. He turns and kind of does this thing, and he jingles the bag, and it seems to be the right amount. So he says, I need to distribute this to the rest of the orchestra before they leave.
Please.
Is there anything you need?
The hunt for those who did this continues. The magistrates will do their best, but I may wish to supplement their investigations if I hire you to assist me.
I'm open to that. I mean, it will cut into my performing schedule, but for you and for your sister, for this family, I will carve out time to help you find that vile fiend who killed your mother.
I thank you very much. Please tell your musician friends that they may partake of whatever the guests have not.
Thank you. You're very kind. I will tell them that. Presently. And then he bows low. It's like it's a formal bow of respect, because Following Bat is on point here. He's even called him Following Bat, and then he will head off to pay Eighth Guardian and grab some snacks himself.
Okay. And Mrs. Fang will fall in behind you, and she'll say, Following Bat seems different.
You're still too good for him.
What are you talking about?
He does seem different.
Lady Twilight Summer. The ceremonies are done. We're in the wake of that. And where are your energies pointed at this point?
That's a good question. Who is there to talk to?
Well, let's see. Certainly, there's kind of hitting the streets and following up on the two factions that were involved. That's one thing. You also sort of indirectly through Following Bat, he mentioned looking for Ming, your father's assistant. That besides your father being missing, his assistant was missing as well. Those are the things that are off the top of my head.
I think actually I invite Jun to come in for tea.
Okay. So your sister calls you in.
Not Chun, Shun.
Shun, I'm sorry.
Jingling.
Thank
Jingling
you.
Shun.
Thank you. So as you are finishing up, as you are about to go and pay, one of the servants will come over and will say, the mistress would like a word with you.
Hides another roll in his robe and turns around. Yes? Is there something wrong?
I do not believe so, good sir.
Oh, well, then, of course.
She merely wishes to thank you for your performance.
Of course she does.
And you'll definitely feel the presence as Mrs. Fang kind of is suddenly in your peripheral vision as you are going along there. And Lady Twilight Summer, Yingling, and Miss Fang will arrive. Where do they find you?
Back in the reception room that I've been using. I nodded, Miss Fang. Thank you, you're dismissed.
Oh, snap.
Let's see if this works.
And she pauses and she looks around at the funerary stuff and she goes, very well. I will be outside, Yingling.
Oh, thank you very much, Miss Fang.
You're more than welcome. And she goes outside, daggers in her eyes, waiting. And it's just the two of you now.
Oh, yeah, I immediately take out the food I've prepared. Are you hungry, Jingling?
I could eat. Thank you very much for your offer.
Thank you for your performance. What do you think of where things stand now? Are you any closer to finding my uncle?
I am not. This has not been as easy as I'd hoped. We'll continue to search. I'll not give up.
Was the help I found for you useful?
Of course. Now, I will take a break for a second. It has been a bit. I am out of sorts, so please remind me of these things.
I was the help that I provided for you.
Right, yeah, but he's not going to say some, like, totally badass wishing warrior came in and saved his can. Okay, cool.
Yes.
Yes. So you sent that help.
My uncle was a skilled magistrate and had many connections throughout the city, some of which I've become aware of. Also, I have always looked to my own survival, as you might anticipate. Did you find young Chunbao's performance acceptable today? Chungai's performance acceptable today?
Without a doubt. Following that was a testament to your family. He kind of gestures broadly because he knows that, like, the relationship is.
That is good.
Yes.
That is good. So, if I leave, he will be fine.
Why would you leave?
Much depends on whether or not my uncle is found.
But are there not affairs of your family that need to be cared for?
There are affairs of the Chun family that need to be cared for.
Very well.
Do you think that what will happen if my uncle is found and he remarries? What will happen to the orphan niece? I am of no one's blood in this house any longer.
But still, you crafty and you are wise. I am sure the following bat would work with you to maintain your position in the household, if only you were to ask.
Perhaps. Perhaps until he marries. I am sure that I will enjoy my time as a maiden aunt in my little brother's home. Or I could seek out what relatives I may still have left in this world. I've always thought that there was some small chance my brother survived. But maybe now is the time to attempt to find him.
Oh. This is a very fraught moment for the both of you. The losses you've suffered, of course, anyone would want some change and would want to find their family. But I would urge caution. Perhaps you should speak with Master Zhang about your feelings.
Perhaps.
He is wise.
Where do you go after your affairs in this city are wrapped up?
To the next city. The next after that. But often I will return. It's like a circuit, really. Staying just ahead. Staying leading towards the next adventure.
That sounds like a good life.
It is.
Perhaps you think me too noble to partake in such a life.
I do. Only those of us who are ignoble would do such a thing.
Ah, well. My aunt married well, but my family has not always been so highborn.
We should share a meal and you could tell me about your family history.
We are sharing a meal.
Yes, but I mean a meal where it's just the two of us. Not a meal where there are servants and eavesdroppers and your brother could come wandering in because that's what he does.
Perhaps you can recommend a place.
He'll rattle off a kind of run-of-the-mill tavern that he's probably made friends at.
I was thinking of, and I rattle off a tavern that is much lower class.
I'm not sure if the fare that they serve is worthy of you, but there are there are some nice drinks there.
My calendar's looking very free, except for the morning.
Well, then we shall have lunch there, and you can tell me about your family history.
Good. I will see if the Red Cloud Sword can find the time to assist you. Are you planning to hunt tonight?
Yes. Following Bad is eager for some kind of closure.
Very good. Though I believe she may wish to speak with the master.
What is this connection you developed with such an exquisite warrior? I am curious. Is this part of your family history? The two of you cousins? I must know.
Quite clearly, we were calligraphy students together.
I see. Calligraphy.
I'm going to cut on that line if I can.
Yes.
Since we've seen the calligraphy of the other, the paper maker, we've seen that with the Red Marsh daughter before, so we get that overlap. Master Zhang, you've had this again, and each time you kind of something just goes wrong in your conversations with this woman.
Feeling my son is in trouble. I have to find him.
and you will move about, and you will find your son. You can see that he's speaking with one of the senior household servants, and he's certainly seems to be talking business. It's about, to say, well, I don't know what your existing contracts are, but I can help out. My father is a friend of the household. I'd be glad to, and is chatting over those things, and you will hear him talking as you approach, and he will stop and say, "Oh, father,
Hey,
I was just speaking with one of the household's seneschals to see if I could be, perhaps as a merchant, be of service to the household and provide goods they would need. I assume things are complicated with the accounts, so trying to be helpful here."
that's very thoughtful, son. However, I have disturbing news.
Oh, what's the matter?
I've been speaking with the noblewoman, Thundernail daughter, and she says that there is a warrant for your arrest. Do you know anything of this?
I don't know, Thundernail daughter. No.
But the charge, do you know what's going on, son? Do you know why they want to arrest you?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
I've been skimming from the Imperial grain supply as it's come in and provided out, and I've been doling it out to the less fortunate.
Let's see. I cannot fault your heart. Is there proof of this?
I'm sure they have proof of my skimming, yes. If they've got a warrant out.
Well, it's for you to decide, son, whether to stay and face these charges or to flee. I will help you whatever you decide.
Well, my druthers would be not to be arrested, if I may be so bold as to say that.
Very, very well. But by this time, the exits will be watched. Come, let us find Chunji. He will help us get you out of here.
Okay. Chunji, you've finished it up. You've sent Yingling off, and you will see Master Zhang approaching with a young man who I don't think you've actually met Pei before. I think you've merely heard rumors, is what we established, right?
Yes, yeah. I think that's legit. Sure.
A young man who looks a little panicked in Master Zhang's wake.
Yeah, and Chunji, this is my son, Pei.
Oh, my condolences to you and your family. I'm very sorry for your losses.
I did not know that your son would be attending, Master.
As I am a friend of the family, he thought it proper to express his condolences.
You have my thanks. I say to Pei.
Thank you.
But yes, but there is a problem. I cannot go into all of the particulars, but Thundernail daughter wishes to arrest my son. And I need your help in getting him out of here before the officers find him.
I'm gonna start by rolling in our conflict.
Do you still have that sort of suspicion of him, even though we kind of changed the entanglements around Oh, you do. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, because that's one of that was
Right.
one of
Yeah,
Shang's
yeah,
entanglements.
Yeah, I mean, it's my entanglement. It's not yours.
Yes, yeah. My friend Shinji suspects my son Pei of evil, but I remain steadfastly loyal. Is so it's his entanglement. I mean, it's
Yeah.
I'm
I actually think
I'm in
I
it.
want.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I actually want Master Zhang to roll because you do know a little bit
Okay.
of the suspicions that I think it is on him to ask this, and that's where the emotional pressure is given the entanglement.
Okay.
I'll let Chun-Jae you'll decide how you want to respond to it.
Okay. Well, the only element I can roll with is fire. Oh, that's a 3.
So mark fire. And Shun-Jae, he's telling you this, and you can see like that young man, that magistrate that you spoke with before, Shi Jia, is coming this way with some guardsmen. They feel like have caught sight of Master Zhang, maybe not Pei, but they are coming this way and they are closing rapidly. If you're going to do something, it must be done now.
Oh, shit. Okay. So
you can hand your friend's son over, or you can take steps to protect him. But you know he's a villain. Oh, you've heard he's a villain.
Yeah.
Now, would you like to roll inner conflict?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just as a player, I've got inner conflict. So, yeah, all right. I'm gonna roll.
For a brief moment, all your stats were clear.
Yeah. For a very brief moment. I'm gonna roll with. I really feel like this is metal. Okay. Control, calculation, reflection. Now, what do I think about what I'm doing here? Let me roll that. Let's see what we got. That's a 9. It's flat, so it's going to be 7 and 9.
So you have a choice. You can kind of, follow through with your noble thoughts and mark that element, or you can give into your base instincts and just retreat from the situation and leave them standing there.
And I think that I just bow and I say, please excuse me, I must look in on my sister. And just turn and walk into the house and close the doors behind me.
And you'll hear Master Zhang, and I presume Pei. You muted.
I turn and I hold out my staff in a martial attitude and stand between them and Pei.
And this magistrate, who's had a very bad day because he's gotten pushed around, draws his blade and he says, "Stand aside, monk."
On what authority?
On the imperial authority.
For what cause?
There is a warrant for your son's arrest, and if you speak any further, I will make sure that you are included in this arrest, and you will be put in jail as well.
And I don't say anything, but I don't move either.
And he moves at you and comes at you. He's going to clearly, he's on your scale. He's clearly going to try and use his energy to move you aside. he hasn't seen you fight before. He has no idea of your skill level, but he is on your scale, and his style is the sound of it. The sound it makes is weirdly familiar as the blade cuts through the air.
Okay, and I'm going to defend myself and just try to give Kay time to get away.
Do you want to try your master move?
Oh yes, that seems appropriate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you have a move that's specifically for this.
Right. Well, actually, I've got two moves. I've got Master and I've got Legend of the Mountain.
Well, let's start with Master.
Let's start with Master. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. So I'll start with Master. I'm going to try to. And I'm rolling with water because that's all I have left. And I get an 11. So.
And what is it you say that causes him to stop?
I say, please, Shijia, it is my son. You cannot ask me to stay aside. Do you not know what it is to lose a child?
And he stops.
Please, can we not discuss this?
And you can tell that mention of losing a child cuts him to the core. You can his whole body language, like you hear the vibration, and he stops, and he goes, "Take your son and go now. This is no place for an arrest. It is a funeral. We will speak later."
I'm grateful, and I grab Pei and I rush off.
And you vanish off into the night. Yingling, Miss Fang is like this when you get out, all Run DMC, arms up, like that.
Oh, Miss Fang.
And did you have your meal?
Yes, we had a very nice meal. We discussed future employment opportunities, and
I'm sure that you did discuss
about
future employment opportunities. Yes.
Of course. What else would we discuss? We may be having lunch at the Boiled Rat. It was her suggestion, not mine.
Well, I'm unsurprised that she knows such a location.
I was surprised, honestly, but we will be hunting down the murderer of their mother.
So where to now? Do we need to prepare? Do we need to go and speak to people? Do you need to go and find your bell?
You know, Miss Fang, that's a fine idea. I couldn't face such a dastardly warrior unless I had my full bandolier. Red Marsh daughter. We must find her. Do you happen to know where she might be?
No, but we can certainly hit our contacts in the street to try and find out.
We should do that.
So I think that's going to be a study move for you.
I think so. I should study.
What do you want to roll that with? What is it that is, what is your approach to like hitting up your street contacts and such?
Well, I've got a lot of stuff marked.
That you do.
And I probably should have got comforted and supported in the last scene, but I was not smart. I played, as someone might say, suboptimally. So instead, I will roll with awareness, wisdom, and flexibility. It's very
absolutely.
Dangerous.
Should absolutely
This is
roll
my
with
element. This is dangerous. Why am I doing this? It's so foolish. push. Oh, but it's okay. It's a 10.
It is a 10. So you get 2 hold.
2 hold, yes.
For questions or declaration.
Where is it that I can find the Red Marsh daughter?
Well, you will ask around about this, and you will hear that the Red Marsh daughter is somewhat on the outs with the Serene Mothers, and that she's been around asking questions about what went on last night. And they suggest that she might be investigating one of the sites of the attacks. And you will draw from that she might actually be at the now abandoned household for the Ox Pilgrim Escort Bureau. The household that was killed off and the one where you met Dragon Fist Killer.
Dragon Fist Killer, a person who I would have known was villainous if only we'd exchanged names before we had a full-length conversation.
And you have another hold to either ask a question or make a declaration about a
I
fact.
want to learn her. Oh, I know her scale. We're on the same scale, so I don't need to ask that. Know a bit about her. Why is she on the outs with the Serene Mothers? Is that a thing? Yeah, I want to know. Like, what is it that the Serene Mothers are upset with her about?
We have heard that what happened last night did not go as the Serene Mothers wished, and that 2 of their members have been less than obedient and seem to be pushing back on their orders, both the Red Cloud Sword and the Marsh Daughter.
Red Cloud Sword is a member of the Serene Mothers?
Well, yeah, I thought everybody knew that.
Yes. No, I did not know that. That is new information.
Miss Bang gasps when she hears this news.
Yes. And I'll wait until we're away from my contact because I don't want them to learn any more of my suspicions. I'll take Fang aside, like hand on her lower back to lead her down the alleyway. Lady Twilight Summer indicated that she has contact with this nefarious Red Cloud. It said that they took calligraphy classes together.
Red Cloud Sword, there's no way that she's a villain. There's no, she's Robin Hood.
Well, I mean, you heard that. It's true.
Certainly, I can understand.
We found this information,
Lady Twilight,
from a contact in an alley.
With nefarious folk.
No, you must give up your fascination with the Red Cloud. Sorry.
Well, only if you give up your.
Yes.
Nothing.
Yes? My what?
Nothing. I'm just saying that maybe we should put 2 and 2 together about Lady Twilight.
What's the second 2? Red Cloud Sword.
Villain.
Lady Twilight Summer.
Lady Twilight knows. Huh.
So you are not insinuating, but outright stating that Lady Twilight Summer is a nefarious villain like your idol, Red Cloud Sword?
No, I'm still just insinuating.
Okay, all right. Okay, good. I'm glad that we're on the same page here, Miss Fang. I would hate for us to be at odds. Good. This was worthwhile. We need to find the Red Marsh daughter by going to the site of the attack, that Ox Brother warehouse where we met Red Fist, the killer. Yeah, Dragon Fist Killer. There we go.
Let me do it once around with everybody else, and then I'm going to come back to you on that scene. Shunjie, you've just abandoned your friend.
Yeah. I'm gonna go find my sister.
Okay. We will have that moment, we've seen Yingling leave. Lady Twilight, you're perhaps contemplating, okay, now I need to go get changed, or I have to do this. And your brother arrives. He's held himself together remarkably well today.
Following Bat.
Sister, I took to heart your words. I've endeavored to serve the family well. I know that your heart is heavy as mine is. And I know that you fear for your future, but I must assure you, you will always have a place in my house, no matter what. And I'm trying to comfort or support her here.
Okay. What do you want to roll that with?
I'm going to roll it with, what do we got here? Let me see. I'm going to roll with Earth.
Okay.
Focus, presence, trying to kind of be in the moment here and think about what people are worried about. So that's an 8. It's a flat roll, so it's an 8.
Okay. So then, Lady, you may, let's look at the basic move on that. Essentially, on a, they can clear a checked element or gain a bond with you. So they may write down a bond with following Bat.
Yeah, because I have no unchecked elements.
Yeah, these are both clean.
So I'll take that bond. That is well of you to say, cousin. I hope you'll remember it to your father when we find him.
And I nod, and I say, I have employed Yingling to assist me in finding those that were responsible for this.
That is good. It would not do if it was bandied about that he was doing only so for regard of me.
And I look at, and I kind of raise and I look a little confused at that. But kind of like clearly for a moment I think about it and then kind of shake my head. And I say, though the resources of the house are mine in name, they are at your disposal if by employing them with your contacts in the city, you can find information on this. Avail yourself of them.
Remember, you've said that to me.
I will not forget. I will make sure that the servants know.
Is Master Shang still in the house?
Master Zhang left to attend to personal matters.
Is he all right?
He left to attend to personal matters. I did not discuss them with him.
That was perhaps a little inhospitable, but you are clearly tired, as am I. I wish to retire now. Chung-ge.
Sleep well, sister. I thank you for your guidance. It has proved invaluable to me.
I doubt greatly I will sleep well. I just go and do that quick turn and shuffle off.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I nod and walk back to my room and the formal robes of mourning are coming off, and my simple tunic is coming on, and I grab my bow.
I have a feeling like the movie, this would be the split screen. I'm pulling on my outfit, yeah.
Yeah, and we go out like opposite windows of the roof on the roof of the house, and like run in opposite directions. I think that's great. Yeah.
Let me do a scene with Zhang. Then we're gonna take our break, and then when we come back, we'll do Yingling's scene. Is what we're gonna do. Does that seem like a cool way to handle this? Mr. Zhang, Pei says, Father, thank you for helping me in this. I should go. The people who helped me in this, I must tell them that there are authorities looking for us, that I have been targeted. I do not want them to be caught up in this.
Very well, but when this is done, meet me. And I give him the name of the tavern where I was staying at the beginning of all this. Meet me there, and we will find a way to get you out of the city.
I'm sorry that it has come to this, Father, and I did not. You taught me to be generous to the less fortunate, and I have perhaps. I'm perhaps not the best merchant. I turned away from being a bandit because I was not good at that, and I'm perhaps also not the best merchant. I am perhaps.
But you have always been generous, son. And to tell you the truth, I do not think you are being arrested because you skimmed grain. Everyone skims. Every merchant takes advantage of government contracts. There is something more to this. Some reason you are being targeted.
Well, if anything happens to me, I would have you speak to my compatriot who helped in this, and they may have advice for these things.
What is your compatriot's name?
There's a good man named Copper Cheng. He has helped me when I arrived in the city, and has been an advisor. And he, when I first put forward this idea, he was the one who helped me implement it.
Very, very well. I will. If anything happens to you, I will find Copper Shang, and I will do my best to protect him.
Thank you. And he will bow, and he will head off into the night. And we will take our break there. Rich, of course, Copper Chang is one of your NPCs.
Yeah. Awesome.
There we go. We'll take 5, and then we will come back. All right.
Okay.
So, Kat, you will appreciate this. We have these kittens that are almost getting on a year old, and they have taken to, when they find like the hair ties, which we give them to play with, they now take it and put it in their water dish. And this is amusing, but like a raccoon, I don't know if they're washing their toys or whatever, but they've now found these like sort of sponge dry erase, the things I use to wipe the dry erase things off. And they love them. And how they started to put those in there. And then they put them out, they soak them, and then they put them on the floor such that if you're walking in your bare feet and you put your foot down on them without realizing it, you're like, oh no, a cat threw up and I didn't catch it in time. I've put my foot in cold cat puke. It has the exact same feeling.
That's truly that. Yeah,
I don't know why they started doing it. It's bizarre.
I miss my furry little guys.
All right.
I found out today by shoulder surfing while on the bus that our buses offer Wi-Fi free of charge.
Oh, wow.
Did not know.
That'll save on your per month thing, I suppose. I have no idea. I don't do enough to even know what my numbers are. So.
Oh, I only watch stuff I've downloaded, so
okay.
My usage of phone data is very minimal, but it's nice because my podcast aggregator won't download unless it's on Wi-Fi. So now I can update later podcasts in the day. I will hush now because we have a game.
So, Yingling, we come back from our commercial break, and we see you. Where have you hidden yourself on the grounds? What do we see?
I think maybe we see him at the alley where he was speaking to Dragon Fist Killer. And he's casing the joint similar to how that vile mercenary was, trying to find who's in there and how he can sneak in.
See you kind of go up to the wall as you expected he would have, kind of in that same place, and you're waiting, you're casing, you're moving, and you will see a figure moving across the grounds. You'll see this woman is in that same dark red clothing and the mask, slightly different than Lady Twilight Summers. Sorry, not Lady Twilight Summer, but the Red Cloud Swords mask. But she's moving, and you see she has that pouch that she keeps your bell in. And she seems to be moving around the grounds, trying to look and examine the scene. What do you want to do?
I think Yingling is going to use her distraction as a way to move even closer, but he doesn't plan on interrupt. He is curious what she's trying to do.
Yeah,
kind of know what she's doing, but
you will watch, and she definitely seems to be walking around like she's trying to reconstruct in her mind what happened here, what the fighting style was, trying to put things together for herself. And eventually you'll see her stop, and she's clearly puzzled. And she stopped at a site. Looks like there was maybe some kind of duel site. So she's kind of looking at the footwork, the tracks that are still on the ground of that. And we would flash back that she's moving around the area where Red Cloud's sword fought Shijia, the magistrate, and she's kind of circling around that, like trying to read the tracks to get a sense of what that tells her. There are marks in the wood where blades hit. There are things on the ground. She's reading the signs.
Do I see my bell on her?
Oh, it's in that pouch.
It's still in that pouch.
You think you could either just sneak up and just snatch it away?
Yeah, I'm totally going to do that thing.
Okay. Now, this has gone so well for you before.
I know, every single time.
Yeah, so this is an overcome. What do you want to roll that with?
I mean, gotta be my style element with water.
Okay. Then let's have you roll it.
Here we go. Oof, I rolled a 6 + 2 is an 8. There's a complication.
So, I think you will grab it and get a hold of it. But she definitely sees you, and while you have a hold of it, she kind of leaps back away out of your reach. And she will say, well, I guess I'm it now.
Now that we're even.
Oh, you think we're even? I count twice that you tried to take that bell back from me.
Why are you investigating this altercation? Are you trying to get back in the good graces of the Serene Mothers, or do you have something against Red Cloud's sword?
Well, of course I have something against Red Cloud's sword. But there's more than that.
Is there?
I don't like to be accused of things that I didn't do. And I was not involved in the kidnapping or the murders that occurred here. What's your game in all of this, Master Bell?
You can call me Yingling. Someone murdered Chungei's mother. That's my primary interest in this right now.
And she kind of lightfoots and lands up close by you. And she says, you are an honorable man then.
Yes. Let's go with that.
Well,
do you know anything about that?
not that I'm willing to tell at this point.
I see. To the fact that I know someone who's very close to Red Cloud's sword. Not you. Someone else. Mm-hmm. That would not encourage you to be more forthright in what you know.
Hearts and minds, Rich.
I am not going water again. Too many times to the pool. I will instead roll with fire. I'm trying to be creative here and Ooh, that is not boxcars. That's 10, 2 5s. Sorry. So total of 11.
She says, there are many actors at play in this. A woman outside of the factions that I know of, and some other figures in the shadows. There's more to this than I can say. Do not accept that what you're seeing is the truth. You have to look past the surface reality. I mean, there is the surface reality of you being a simple musician, and then the truth.
You know, if you just wanted lessons with the bell, you could have asked.
When I want lessons with the bell, I'll come and take it. And she will up and Lightfoot onto the wall. But she does, you see her look down because you got the pouch, you got the bell, and she does take off.
I'm opening the pouch, like very deliberately putting the bell back in the bandolier as she's running away. But I keep the pouch.
Absolutely. It's perfumed, has a beautiful scent to it.
Reminds me of Red Marsh Daughter. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's how it goes. So we can cut now. Possibly we can cut to the group coming together. Does that seem like a reasonable way? We've arranged some meetings, or is there something you want to do before we circle the wagons together?
Master Shang and I had talked about going to see the Serene Mother last time.
Do you want to do that?
I mean, I'm interested to see what Steve would say.
Well, that's fine. I mean, if you should happen to run into me while
I have that move. I will find you.
Okay. Yes.
So let's do that. Let's have the sort of the Zhang Lady Twilight. Let's do that scene, and then we can come back to Chunjie and Yingling and see how we can kind of shape that scene in that particular direction. So, Lady Twilight, you were the most familiar with the Serene Mothers. So how do you go about doing this, and at what point do you run into Master Zhang?
Where do I find you, Master?
I think I've been making the rounds of various bars looking for the Red Cloud sword. So dropping word that I would like to speak to her.
All right, so cool. This is totally as you leaving one of them. I just dropped down from the alley behind you.
And I say, Red Cloud sword. I'm glad you found me. I need your help.
Master Zhang, you seem troubled. I do not like the look of that in a master as wise as you.
I am troubled. I am a monk, but I am also a father, and my son is in danger. There is a warrant for his arrest on the charge of cheating the Imperial Treasury. He has done
the Imperial Treasury.
Yes. He's done no more than any other merchant has done, but apparently powerful forces have set his arrest in motion, and you would know more than I how he can avoid the guards who seek to find him. We must get him out of the city until until I find some way to have these unjust charges dismissed.
Normally, the Serene Mothers would charge quite an amount for such a mission. Of course, I could make your magistrate problem go away.
I hope you are not suggesting that anything untoward would happen to the magistrate.
He would go away. What's the implication of what I was saying?
No.
It is a shame. There is a magistrate I would not mind putting into the ground.
No, all I need is for my son to be safe while these charges are dealt with. I'm sure there must be. If I can only discover what is behind all of this, I'm sure something can be done.
Do you still wish to confront the Serene Mother? She may have ideas. Of course, we have our own agenda in that score.
Yes. Yes, let us visit the Serene Mother. Perhaps we can make some bargain. I have little money, but there may be.
My own agenda with the Serene Mother involves finding out more about this eyeless waterfall.
Yes. And I imagine the Serene Mother has their own agenda. Let us find out what it is.
Yes, if you help me, perhaps I may be able to help you in a variety of means that will not require funerary rites.
Agreed.
Then we must go to the lamasery at the edge of town. Do you get along well with nuns?
With notable exceptions.
I suggest you be on your best behavior tonight.
This can hardly be the worst encounter I have ever had with a nun.
The night's young.
Lowell, you're muted.
So we'll see you two heading over to the lamasery. We watch that go on, and I think we'll come back to that with the arrival, and we'll present the Serene Mother. In the meantime, Shunjie, what are you up to, and how can we bring that into Crossroads with Yingling?
So Yingling, when you're putting that bell back into your bandolier,
Mm-hmm.
do you really not just give it a little tingle just to make sure that it's okay?
Of course I do that. I mean,
Okay. And
why would you not test your instruments?
Yeah. So I'm up on the rooftops, kind of like just sitting there, kind of with an ear cocked to the wind. And I hear just just the tinkling of the bell. And and it's a thing where I come dropping down, not in that Red Cloud Sword, I'm suddenly there like Batman kind of way, but in like whump, thump, boom, whamp, and like big cloud of dust, and I'm standing there in front of you.
Says Miss Svang.
And I bow to her, and I say, Jun, Yingling Jun, we must begin our search. You are worldly in a way that I will never be. I've grown up sheltered in the house of my father. You have walked the streets of many cities, and you will be the one that will help us find the path to the people who did this. And I'm buttering him up.
I know.
Supporting him.
I feel
Yes,
comforted.
yeah.
I feel
Yes, yeah.
supported.
Totally. All right. And so this is
That seems reasonable.
Yeah. What do we got here? I'm gonna roll with wood.
Okay. Sounds good. I just discovered that you can hold the space bar down in Zoom and it will temporarily unmute you.
That is 8 plus 2 is 10.
All right. So you can clear an element or add a bond, Rich, and Jim may do the same.
I'm definitely gonna get a bond with Yingling.
Like, that's the tough thing. Do I clear metal, or do I get a bond with following bad? So difficult. I'll go for the bond.
All right. And I'm looking at you expectantly, like, what do we do next? Where do we go?
We need Master Zhang. His perspective has served us well in the past.
He is attending to personal matters right now.
We can go on without him.
Fang's kind of like, okay.
Perhaps, Miss Fang, if you could hunt down Mr. Shang.
All right, I can go and do that.
Check the jail, I say.
Miss Fang looks at you and with a look of, we're going to need an explanation there.
Yeah, yeah, a little more, please, perhaps.
He has been dragged because he is an honorable father into the illicit affairs of his son, a corrupt merchant.
I see.
I could not. They are personal matters of his. I did not inquire as to the nature of exactly what happened.
I understand. You're a good friend to him. Don't worry, I know a few people who've run afoul of the law. It happens.
It is not he that has run afoul of the, and like I get like that gets my back up. I said, it is not he who has run afoul of the law. It is his corrupt son who has dragged him into whatever mess he is engaged in.
Well, of course.
But such matters are a distraction from the task at hand.
Agreed. So let us continue our search. And yeah.
That seems a
How
good...
we do that? Yeah, cut? Do we cut?
Yeah, I think we cut there, and let's do the Zhang, Lady Twilight scene, and then maybe we can intersect those two paths. The nuns greet you. There is perhaps an eyebrow raised when you show up, Lady Twilight, because of course people have been looking for you. But one of the senior nuns will say, Lady, will say, Red Cloud's sword, have you come to seek some forgiveness from our order?
am owed a measure of forgiveness as I was sent into an ambush. And, well, I shall reserve that for when I speak.
And they look at Master Zhang, and
He is a man who has been caught up in these machinations as well. He is a great master, and we should pay him the homage that is due.
oh, we will give him what he deserves. Yes.
Of course, sister.
Come, I will take you to the Serene Mother.
I greatly look forward to it.
And we'll go in. What you will see, Master Zhang, is a very formal, very, very correct, everything in its right place. Monastery, the nuns are dressed in the proper garb. They have all of the perfect ritual marks, and they will lead you in, and they will bring you into the inner chambers, and they will open it up, and you will see this woman seated there in a distinctly non-nun outfit. She has a pipe that she's smoking from. She has tea and perhaps rice wine, and she looks up and she says, "Milady, come inside. It has been too long. Bring your little friend."
I like the pipe. Is it a new brand? I just kind of walk in.
It was in the possession of an associate of mine, and he gifted it to me upon his passing.
Strange how many wills are made out to members of this order.
We are not here for banter.
We aren't. I need to check the tenets of the order again, then.
Banter would be appropriate, but you have brought a third party into these discussions.
Oh, don't mind me. Banter all you like.
He's a man that appreciates banter. Of course, he is also a student of deep mysteries. Perhaps he is rubbing off on me as I am rubbing off on him, because I have a number of mysteries that I find perplexing.
Well, you've chosen good company here to assist you, the wise Master Zhang, master of the Diligent Bee Shrine, who took over that after he struck down his wife.
I arch an eyebrow and look back at Django. Interesting.
It was to some extent accidental.
I understand many of the events around me have turned out to be accidental.
Absolutely. We understand accidents.
Very well. I mean, I keep saying we should get into some sort of insurance line.
Why is it that you have...
I was sent into an ambush. I would prefer to think that it was not something that you did intentionally.
If I sent you intentionally into an ambush, you wouldn't be here to speak with me at this point.
That was my hope. Of course, there is always the chance that you would have made a mistake, as your predecessors did.
Oh, rude, Red Cloud Sword.
Too soon?
No, I did not send you into an ambush. I sent you to retrieve a volume in the midst of chaos, as I told you. You
Yes.
to take advantage of that, but you were unable to do that.
No, nothing went right that night because Eyeless Waterfall has her own plans for the manual.
Eyeless Waterfall is dead.
I have different intelligence, or at least her last student,
That is a different matter.
isn't it?
Go on. What is it you wish to know?
Tell me about the last student of Isla's Waterfall.
And why should I do that?
Oh, obviously I wish to challenge her to a match of mahjong. You understand that a partner who is very close to me is no longer able to attend our weekly games, and I believe that it is the student's fault. I know, I feel quite improper for even mentioning the fact that I have personal connections, and yet, who are we if we are not vengeful for those who hurt us?
Is Master Zhang aware of your personal connections?
I don't particularly care about her personal connections, but this affair of the book is stirring up the city, and my son is in danger, and I cannot help but suspect that somehow these events are related.
I do not know where the last student of Isla's Waterfall is now. I have my people out looking. She betrayed us and has taken the pieces of the book, though I do not believe that she has all of them at this point.
And why were you working with her in the first place?
That is our affair.
Is it?
Yes, it
And-
is.
And the magistrate Chun Bao? He's missing, you know,
I know.
and his wife is dead.
I'm well aware of that.
All of these have placed my affairs in somewhat greater disorder than is hygienic.
When you chose this life, I never promised you order.
When I chose this life, it was distinctly to avoid order.
There we are then.
But
You have your wish.
there is efficient chaos, and there is what we are doing now.
You draw distinctions in this late hour. No. We have been betrayed. We will find her, and
Good.
we will retrieve the book.
I suggest that you aim, as you have always done, the red cloud sword at those whom you wish to remove, and I shall take care of the matter.
I don't think I have to give you orders in this matter.
You must only give me advice.
I think at this point I have no more advice to give you this evening. I've told you what I can about this affair.
It seems that you still have untapped wells of knowledge in this matter, though. Would you blindfold yourself before you strike with the sword? Or would you prefer that your sword is unsheathed and bright in the light of the sun?
Had you come to me right away, had you sought me out right away to follow up on this, then yes, I would consider you a bright, shining, and sharp-edged tool. But you are clouded in judgment. Go and do what you must, but know that I will be sending my people out to do the same thing. You are dismissed.
And the master's affair?
I do not believe that it is intersecting with this matter.
And if you wish to purchase your services?
I have no particular interest in the fate of the book, but if my personal concerns were to be assuaged, I would consider that I owed a favor.
Then yes, we will gladly get your son to safety.
Very well.
And she says, speak to one of the sisters outside. They will give you a location that you should bring your son to tomorrow morning, and they will arrange his exit from the city.
Thank you. And I will assist your disciple in this matter.
As long as you do not get in the way.
It's not Master Shang's habit to get in the way in a fight. I can tell you that from personal experience. Just be careful. He fights better in the dark.
I'm going to cut there.
Yeah, because I can do this all night.
Let's have the crossroads then of Yingling following Bat, searching out for Master Zheng, and Master Zheng. Where do these two cross paths with you?
I think at the inn where I told my son to meet me.
And you will see Master Zhang arriving at the inn, and I assume that the red cloud sword emerges from the darkness when the meeting occurs.
Yeah, sure. Let's just do the whole bad. Let's just lean into this bad lady thing.
You four together.
Master Zhang, I trust that the personal matters that interfered with my mother's funeral that you were able to conclude them to your satisfaction.
Not yet, but I have high hopes that by morning it will be taken care of. Thank you, friend.
Your devotion to him is ill-placed.
What's this now, folding rat? You doubt the love a father should bear for his son?
It's following Bat, and I don't think you should challenge Shunge on his feelings about his family right now. He has suffered a great loss.
Nobody wants... No, take it from an orphan. The bond between father and child is sacred.
I do not wish to quarrel, Chinji. We have more important matters to deal with.
And I bow.
Yes.
In agreement.
Yes. I am concerned that your father is still missing. It's strange. I don't understand it.
He's hiding from the disciple of Isla's waterfall, and everything tells me that he should.
Or he has already been struck down. Either way, I have to know. So tell me of this eyeless waterfall, I say rather imperiously to this mercenary here.
The mysterious mothers do not wish to inform me of everything. I think they would probably prefer that in this matter I be either chastened or removed.
What is their role in this?
They claim they were betrayed. I wonder why they trusted anyone to begin with in this matter.
The idea that there could be any honor amongst thieves and assassins vexes me.
Does it?
Why you do not simply expect betrayal from such people?
Are you an only child, Shunge?
No. I have a sister.
I have no family. Such family as I have found, I have made. One does not expect betrayal from one's family, whether they are made or by some accident of blood. So please step down from your high and mighty judge's chair.
Very well. We must find my father.
Agreed. At the very least, it will bring us closer to the disciple of Eyeless Waterfall.
Someone much wiser than I suggested that perhaps his advisor would be easier to find than he. They are rarely separated, but he does send him out on errands. If my father has gone to ground, whatever he requires from the city, he will send his assistant out to get.
I can find him.
You're muted, Lowell.
You have a move for that.
I do have a move for that.
Absolutely. What do you want to roll that with?
Let me see. I am afraid of rolling fire for this. I'm going to roll earth because I think this actually requires me to be slightly cautious. And let us pray that this works. Ooh, that's a 6, but I can get that to a 7.
Do you wish to burn bond?
Yeah, with Chungai.
That seems perfect. So
Gets me to a 7. Yeah, I'm gonna find them.
I think it's a montage of you asking around, and you know, the description of Ming, the others are with you, and this is in the it's still dark, it's the early hours, you know, and eventually someone will say, yes, this man you speak of, I saw him captured by someone and taken away. So this Wulin warrior with white hair took him, and eventually you'll start following that back until you will find yourselves at this abandoned temple at the edge of the city. A fire broke out here a few years ago, and the gates were shut in this section of the city, and many died. And it is legendary that the ghosts of those who were trapped here still haunt this place. And very few dare to come into it. But you have read the signs, Red Cloud Sword, and this temple is significant. And your uncle's assistant Ming was taken to here.
And let me guess, white hair. Yep, white hair would be Dragon Fist Killer.
That does seem to match the description that Yingling would recall there.
Did I mention how handsome he is? It's quite handsome.
Master Jingling, are you warmed up? Are you ready to give a performance tonight? Would you prefer it to be solo, or maybe you could use some accompaniment?
Duet is always better than a solo. Perhaps a quartet.
I fear that we will need all that we can muster.
I would agree.
I think we're going to need to be quite up tempo on this particular number.
And Miss Fang says, I will wait outside.
Thank you. Be careful. I will stay hidden.
She's been remarkably quiet throughout this whole thing. Perhaps the whole shocking revelations about Lady Twilight, about Red Cloud Sword and so on have affected her.
Perhaps.
Come at me, Fang. Come at me.
So as you can imagine, there is the yard outside the temple. The mist hangs there, shrouding the ground as you make your way through it. There are trees out here that must have been beautiful at one point, but they are blackened and burnt. Stone markers are scorched and have fallen over. Cleaners did come through to remove bodies and so on, but this temple is definitely scarred by the incident. So how do you want to approach this? Who is in the lead? Are you coming together? Are you spreading out? What do we see on screen? Master Zheng?
I think I'm sort of scouting, carefully sticking to the shadows, and so just keeping my ears open. So it's like I'm using walls as cover and just listening to what's on the other side.
And Yingling, how do we see you approaching this?
Unless following Bad has a preference, I'm probably just walking in. I mean, that seems the coolest way to do it.
Absolutely. Following Bad?
I am going to plunk an arrow into a tree, and then another one into a pillar, and then another one into the eave of the roof, so that I can go, boing, 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 and land on the head of the Buddha statue that the roof burned away, right? So it's not there. And the Buddha statue that was inside the floor gave way, so it crashed and fell back against the back wall of the temple. So I am going to be standing up on the head of the Buddha, looking down into the ruined, burned temple with my bow.
And Red Cloud Sword.
It seems to behoove me as your friendly neighborhood Batman to fade into the shadows and sneak in following Jingling.
Jingling, the others are like
nice,
and you're moving along, and
it's appropriate.
You will come in, and the tracks are easy to see here, the footsteps and so on, the footprints, and you will follow it back to in front of the Buddha, a platform, a kind of altar, and the tracks end there. And you can see that it must slide away to reveal a passage down below the temple.
Back, make sure they all see. I point out, and they'll start heading towards the passage below the temple.
Can I have you make an overcome action?
Ooh. Sure.
What do you want to roll your overcome to evade the trap?
Trap. I mean, it only makes sense that I would be aware and wise and flexible here. So I'm going to roll with water.
Okay.
Hey, by the way, if you had to mark your style element, can you not access your style?
That is correct. You cannot fight while you have your style element marked. There are a couple
That's what I
people in the
thought.
group that have ways around that with moves, but
Not one of them.
you're
Here
not
we
one
go.
of them.
Oh, yes, I summoned it. I've rolled a 6.
Do you want to burn a bond?
No, I want that level up. This is the perfect time for everything to go terribly wrong.
Then I think that you will push this aside and you will step down, and then the stairs give way and there's a and Yingling vanishes into the void.
So this is where because I am a smiling, proud wanderer, I can once per scene, it's all an excuse to see the world. Once per scene, I can ask one question from study without rolling.
Sure.
And
what question do you want to ask?
I want to ask about hidden details. Like that trap went off. What and I've got that perch up top, and I kind of cast my glance around the whole temple there. What are we missing?
It looks like when the altar was moved, whatever mechanism needed to be hit to not have the trap activate was not tripped, and as soon as he stepped down a few steps, a whole section of the stair gave way, and you can see him falling into this pit. Mark water, by the way, Yingling, or wounded.
I'll be wounded. That sounds awesome.
Okay. So you're kind of surveying the scene. We'll come back to you in just a second. Following that, Master, Red Cloud, you've kind of come in, and Yingling vanishes in a way that says that he did not have control over that particular descent.
Right, but I'm Batman, so I'm going to just do a quick somersault and jump down the pit after him.
Okay. Let's have you roll overcome.
Yeah, I figured as much. Yep. This is going to be good. Yep. No. Oh, good Lord. It's my style element. Okay, it's fire. Because it's just definitely passion.
Oh, yeah.
That's a 12. The force is with me.
So you will leap, kind of catch the edge of where that stair has fallen, and grab on, and Yingling, your arm is wrenched as the Red Cloud sword kind of grabs you. You can see like water and jagged spikes down below, another 30-foot fall down to it. You kind of hit against the wall where there are other like razors to keep people from climbing up if they survive the fall. And so there's blood, beautifully running down your gleaming skin as Red Cloud sword is holding you. Master?
Yeah, I'm going to hurry down there, and I think I'm going to study the situation.
Okay. Oil with water.
Yeah,
It's
that's
your last element.
Yeah, that's an 11. So
You have 2 hold.
okay, so I'll ask a question. What hidden dangers are there?
Well, the sound of this has undoubtedly alerted the people down below. That seems to be the danger that is out of sight, is that there are definitely warriors. There's definitely people down below. You can hear the sounds of that, and what has happened up here has drawn their attention, and they're smart enough not to come charging up the stairs. They're clearly waiting.
And I think I reach out and I pull the hidden switch, which deactivates the trap and opens the passageway.
Okay, so kind of have to, and it'll pull this set of stairs that have fallen away will come back up and lock into place. Jim, I'm going to give you another study because the study that you did kind of got overwrit by the other stuff. So let me have you take another hold question.
Like threats, and specifically like, you know, like is there a crowd of mooks waiting for us, or what is the like those warriors underneath? Yeah,
by the sound of it, you're definitely getting the sense that there are warriors down there, and the way that they you know, you hear the sound of preparations, that there's clearly a superior they have there with them, somebody significant leading them, a worthy foe.
And so we have like the trap door.
It's going to those like the spiral stairs, and this section of the stair fell away, but now you've got it back up so you can go down the stairs.
Oh, so like down like spiral. So it's like a spiral staircase down.
Yep.
Is there like a clear open? Is it open in the center, or is there like a central shaft that we have to kind of go around?
See, I since you're asking me that, I'm going to say there's a shaft in the center that blocks you from going down.
So then, yeah, I'm, yeah. So then
are you hell bent on justice or what?
So, I drop down and I pull like 4 arrows out of my quiver, and I knock them on the bow, and I slap the bow against the wall, point it down, and I pull as hard as I can, and I let it go, and they go, the arrows go zinging down along the wall, skidding along the wall, making sparks and stuff.
Trying to create a distraction so they'll kind of be forced back to give you guys room?
I mean, if I can use this to deal with troops, then I will, but
I don't think that's appropriate.
But if that's, yeah, cool. But yeah, absolutely. If that's to, but yeah, to kind of to scatter them, to like make them step back. Yeah, even if it's just, they're like, what the crap, you know, then yeah, totally.
Let's have you roll overcome.
Okay, let me do that. I'm gonna roll with my style element because this is, yeah. So that's 7 plus 3 gets me to a 10.
So we will cut to the downstairs where we see this group of troops. They're preparing a large chamber. They've got their prisoners there. We can see Dragonfist Killer and his lieutenant, and then suddenly these arrows just come flying out, sparks, and they all fall back, giving you, if people want to come down into the room to get down there without immediately being set upon. Yingling, what do you want to do? Do you hold? Do you have to patch yourself, or what? You're muted.
I've got to look good. Thanks for taking that drink. I got to look good, so I need to patch myself.
Okay. Then if you want to, essentially the others will be able to go before you, but you can take some time here and let them have first crack at these people.
Totally have the first crack while I quickly bandage myself.
Okay. And
I'll swoop in and take a lot of credit later. Don't worry.
Yeah. And of course, the when we see the scene cut, of course, your clothing is immaculate again, as that is both of your special abilities. So, Lady Twilight, you've yanked Yingling up. Your cousin has fired and pushed back these troops down below. What do you do?
I say to Yingling, that was a false note played. Try and come in when you have some time. And I flip down the stairs with the red cloud sword already coming out of its sheath as I tumble.
Absolutely. And you will land at the base of the stairs and kind of opens out. There's a few more steps of a kind of a landing here, and you'll come and there's a cave. It clearly was a place of refuge. At one point, it's been reappointed to serve as kind of a hidden lair. You can see that there are tables here. There are shelves with things on them, and there are a dozen of these troops. And you will see this figure at the back, Dragon Fist Killer. He has this woman next to him who's also wearing a kind of a mask, who's clearly his lieutenant. And Dragon Fist Killer sees you and says, "Oh, this is well met. It is the Red Cloud Sword."
Hello, boys. I am Zhan. If anybody wishes to keep the majority of their limbs, you may leave now. I only wish to speak with your employer.
And blades are drawn. What are you doing, Master Zhang?
I think I'm going to engage the mooks.
Okay.
And keep them from interfering.
So rush down, get in, and immediately tie them up.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got the mooks kind of clearing the path. Shunjae, what are you doing?
I see that Yingling is hurt, and I slide down I slide down the Buddha, and my bow is being whipped onto my, and I'm my bow is already around my shoulders, and I'm tearing a strip off of my tunic to wrap it around his arm. And I say, "You must be careful. This is a treacherous lot we are dealing with." And I'm gonna offer him comfort for his.
He's
wounds.
cleared his wounded, so you can do the comfort and support. Let's go ahead and have you roll that.
Sure. All right.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
What do you want to roll that with?
I'm gonna roll with. I'll roll with wood.
Okay.
That is a 9 plus 2 is 11.
Okay. So you may both gain a bond or clear an element.
I'm clearing metal this time.
Okay.
Thank you.
I am taking a second bond with
Okay.
Yingling, and I say, Master, the master and the master and that mercenary will be more than capable of handling whoever is down there. We must keep them from escaping.
Absolutely.
If you were a bandit hidden beneath a temple, where would your escape be?
Oh, I mean, that's a stretch for me to be that, but I think you go here, here, and here, and I point out we'll go try to cover exits.
Okay. So you two, does that seem like a study move, Rich, to kind of spot that, or do
I think that seems fair.
Let's have you roll that.
Okay. Well, I mean, I just unblocked my metal, so calculation reflection seems appropriate here.
Okay.
Let's roll it and fail a 4. A terrible 4.
So Yingling, you will move off to the side and start kind of looking as Chunjie is kind of covering the top of this, and you see out of the mist comes Miss Fang,
Oh no.
and
Just don't do this. No, this is
she
a bad
comes
move.
walking towards you, and you can see that there's this maybe 7 or 8-year-old child with her, and she comes up to you like, oh my god, and then she stabs you. Please mark an element.
Child didn't stab me, Miss
No,
Fang.
Miss Fang stabbed you. Your eyes were on the child like, what is this? I saw the expression on your face, Rich, and then the knife goes into your side, the blade.
Ooh.
Mark an element.
I think you've broken my control. I will just remark that element that you just cleared. Sorry,
Okay.
Chunjie.
You are off balance right now.
Oh my.
We'll come back to you, Chunjie, in just a moment.
Is that an inner conflict for me?
Well, we're going to come back to you in just a
okay.
moment. Oh, yes. Let's start with clearing the aisles. Master Zhang, these are they're dressed in a kind of uniform to match Dragon Fist Killer. They are clearly there to block short-handled blades, and they rush at you. So what do we see? How do you deal with a group like this in a cavern? There's some environmental terrain as you close the distance. They're kind of trying to wrap around you. What do we see?
I mean, I'm using my staff to sort of push them back, and it's like they're being pressed against the walls by as if by an enormous wave.
Let's have you roll with your last unblocked stat.
That's a 9.
That is a 9. So it's a good thing. Deal with troops on a 9. You defeat them, but it's not easy. There are so many of them. You're having to switch, push your strength, your wave come up and knock them back, and essentially you have to go like a tide in and out to keep them held in place. Does that seem reasonable?
Sure.
Okay. Lady Twilight Summer, you go moving at Dragon Fist Killer. As you do so, his lieutenant will step in the way. They both have blades out, and you can see that behind them, in a cell, is your uncle and his servant Ming. What do you do? Are you muted? Because I can't hear you.
I am muted. I was being mysterious and silent. I'm just here for the old man. I really don't want to have to kill everybody in this room. But I take it that's got no impression, so we're just moving straight up to Duel, aren't we?
Yep. Which one are you engaging?
Whichever one is keeping me from getting to Dragon Fist Killer.
Okay. So the lieutenant, Crystal Paw, will move up. You could see that she does this, and she has the sort of backhand claws that gleam silver, and she comes at you, kind of catches the blade on the first pass and goes in. She is your scale. So
Time to cut her down to size.
let's see. Let's have you roll.
Oh, good God. That is a 10.
That is a 10. So what does this look like? What is your your style? What is your approach when you have to fight someone like this?
I think it's going to be a tone breaking moment because I have that whole thing where I can humiliate opponents if I want.
Mm-hmm.
I think she comes at me and I'm doing this kind of you can't hit me, you can't hit me, you can't hit me, you can't hit me. And then I stab her right in the back.
And she will drop to the ground. Her claws hit the floor and they catch. So she's trying to get them up out of there, even as she's bleeding. And you'll turn to face Dragon Fist Killer, who is standing there very nonchalant. We'll come back to that. Shung Jae, you see Miss Feng come up. There's another figure. It's hard to make out in the mist and stuff. But you see Miss Feng stabs Yingling, runs this sword through him. Now that inner conflict.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Oh, I feel like this is metal. Control and reflection.
This is pretty metal.
Yeah. It was pretty metal, that thing that you did. All right. So that is an 8.
So you can mark metal and hold your stealth steady. I want to flee.
I want to burn a bond.
Ooh.
I want to burn my bond with Human because she's his daughter.
Okay.
Is that legit?
That is legit. Take it to a 10, so you don't even have to mark metal. You just see this happen. What do you do?
Arrow comes out, and I want to just shoot the knife out of her hand. I mean, I guess this is kind of a duel. I'm pretty much dueling her, I think.
Well, this is actually overcome. What you're trying to change the circumstances. You're trying to change the environment.
Yes, okay. that is absolutely what I'm trying to do.
Then let's have you roll overcome.
I'm gonna risk my style element here because I want to make sure my friend is safe. So
that seems fair.
Roll with +3. See what I get here. That is a 6. +3 gets me to a 9. 7 to 9.
So you will push them apart, and she does kind of step back. The smaller figure kind of vanishes in the mist. Both of you lose sight of him.
Okay.
But we'll come back to that in a second. Yingling, you look at Miss Feng. She's kind of fallen back with the blade. She looks at you, and she reaches up, and she pulls off this mask, and we see pulls back, and now we see this gray-haired older woman there, and she says, "You must be Master Yingling."
Yes. Where is Miss Feng?
I have done nothing to Miss Feng that is permanent. I may have use for her later.
You're assuming there will be a later for you, villain.
What do?
I think it's time to break out the big bells. Hopefully there will be no traps and there will be no Miss Fangs to attack me.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the hope, but we'll see how
you
that
go
goes.
at her.
Yes, go
when
at
you
her.
Fight a foe above your scale. Roll.
Oh man, I need help. All right, I'm going to do it. I just threw myself into this. I'm so unwise. Here we go. That'll be a 4. Wow, these dice, I'm going to go ahead and delete them right now.
Okay.
Selected. They're gone forever.
So you come at her with the big bell, and you see her wait, and then she hits, and there's a strike from that, and your bell shatters in your hand. Mark your style element or take a wounded as the shrapnel hits you.
Oh, that's perfect. I got a mark style element on that. Okay. That is just too good.
Just shatters. You've never seen anything like this. Her power is is unbelievable. We'll come back to you two up there in just one second. Master Shang, you've kind of pushed these troops back, rendered them unconscious. You look over, you see that Red Cloud Sword has dealt with the lieutenant and is right up there in Dragon Fist Killer's face. And you also see these prisoners, and there's noise upstairs.
Right. So are these troops sufficiently taken care of that I can
Absolutely.
disengage? Right. So I'm going to step up and I'm going to engage this other opponent, Dragon Fist Killer.
Okay. So you want to just take him on?
Sure.
Okay. In that case, when you fight a foe above your scale, roll.
Okay. And that's a 9.
That is a 9. So mark your style element, or mark wounded. And tell me you come at him and what happens. You get to describe how since you got a hit, you get to describe how he pushes you back.
Right. Well, what is his weapon?
Sword, straight sword.
Right. And yeah, I'm engaged. I'm parrying his blows with my staff, and I'm being aggressive. I'm being more aggressive than I usually am. I'm tired. I'm exhausted, and it's just he suckers me. It's I block the strike with his sword, and he just does this backflip that lands behind me and just punches me from behind.
Drops Master Zhang, kind of gesturing, staggers back, and he looks at you, Lady Twilight. But you see Dragon Fist Killer facing you, Red Cloud Sword. But then you see him pause, and he kind of like, for a second, his attention is drawn. But then he's like,
So, if I'm correct, that means I'm between him and the cage, right?
yes.
I'm gonna open the cage.
Okay.
Ding!
I don't even think there's a role for that. I think Master Zhang has given you the room to do that, and your uncle's kind of at the thing, and he points at a desk, and he says, "Get the pages."
Hell, I'll take.
Okay. So break him
Oh,
out.
it's but I do break them out, right?
Yes, you
Okay.
break them out of it. He'll come out. You kind of turn, and now you have eyes on where that portion of the manual is. But Master Zhang is still there at Dragon Fist Killer's mercy. Back, up, top, following bat.
Yeah, so Yingling's bell just got shattered, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hardcore. So like I guess I'm kind of down there where oh, you know what? I like the bell shatters and like the pieces go flying and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then I realize that kid has melted into the background.
Yes.
And so this is like you know, looking around for where that kid went.
Okay.
Is that maybe a study to try?
I think that's absolutely study
try
action.
and find him? Yeah, okay, all right. So I'm gonna roll on wood. I'm very curious where he went. So let's see what we got here. That's an 8 plus 2 is 10.
You have 2 hold.
All right. So, I mean, I guess hidden, whatever,
This
hidden details, something like that. I mean, like I want to
there's
find
this
the kid.
cloaked figure.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got kind of camouflage, and he's moved up, and he's actually behind you, and moving up, and yeah, you'll see him.
And I'm gonna reveal a detail.
Sure.
And that is that my father's assistant has been carefully watching them come and go, and he knows a way to get out the back with my father.
Excellent. Okay, I think that's a fair thing to do. So just to kind of frame that with you, Lady Twilight, Ming grabs your uncle and says, "I will get him to safety," and rushes for a gap in the wall. Does that seem okay?
That sounds good to me.
Yingling, this woman has shattered your bell.
Yeah.
She's moving up on you.
Your kung fu is very powerful. Perhaps we could talk about this.
Talk about this? Why would we talk about this?
Well, you must want something from this interaction.
So you want to use heart to mind to kind of like get her curiosity to make her at least give you a breath here, right?
Yes. I'm trying to buy some time here for myself.
Yeah. I think it's legit because she's curious that this bizarre request.
Good. So I only have earth and fire left. By the way, I had chosen to take that fail because my brain was thinking XP on a fail, which means that failure that I took earlier was all for naught, as I remembered that you have to do other stuff.
It's inner conflict is where
I know it's inner conflict. Yes, I didn't remember until after the fact, which means that the level up I thought I got, I still don't have. I'm still on the precipice, but I'll roll with fire anyway. Here we go. 2 brand new dice because these dice will like me. Or not. That is a 6.
Got a bond with me, and I'm right there.
That's true. We did get a bond for a reason. I'm going to burn it so that I don't fail. Yeah, so I'll look to following bat and say, what's...
And I like nod at him, and kind of like my eyes just dart to a place in the shadows, indicating I know where the one that was with her is. Just kind of like I just give like a little head fake, like.
And so hearts and minds. I'll let you ask 2 questions about her. I'm going to reveal themselves as she comes up, and she is with that blade. She is hitting your cheeks with it, doing those cuts on it as she's pushing you back.
Oh, geez. I'm so pretty.
I know.
Why is she doing this? Okay.
And your hair cuts away a lock of it.
Oh, she's such a villain. Okay, 2 questions. What is she after? Who?
She is here for the last part of the book. This is Eyeless Waterfall's disciple.
I'll declare it. She's after the book.
Shout that out. And you've got one more question.
How could we defeat her?
It's going to take all of you together to take her on. Her style is like Well, it's familiar, but it's an advanced version of a fighting style you've seen.
Following Bat, there's no way that any one of us could defeat her.
Let's come back downstairs as you two are kind of preparing yourselves. Master Shang. What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm in pretty bad shape. So it's like I'm trying to. I think I'm trying to gather the book from the desk and retreat.
Let's have you roll overcome.
Well, I don't have anything left to roll with, unfortunately.
There is the rub. So tell me what that looks like when you can't quite make it.
Right. Yeah, it's like I'm going for the book, and I grab the book. I'm trying to get out of there, but like one of the guards who I knocked down before gets up and he blocks the way, and I'm trying to fend him off, but
there's so much blood, and the book is slick in your hands, and your vision is wavering there. Red Cloud Sword, you see this. You see Master Shang on his last legs trying to deal with this, and you see that in a moment Dragon Fist Killer is going to step over there and finish him off.
I do believe this is going to trigger my inner conflict, isn't it?
I think so.
Anything but my style element. Let me just take a look at what that might be. Oh. It's either water or metal. It's either awareness, wisdom, or flexibility, or control, calculation, or reflection. So I think the question is what is my instinct in this matter? Is it to take the book or to help Master Shang? And I think it's to help Master Shang, which is very unfortunate because that's water.
Let's have you roll.
The calculated answer would have been to take the thing and just run. Ooh, it's a 7. It's a 7, everyone.
So you can mark that element and rescue Zhang.
Yep, definitely.
You can just grab the book and run.
No, I'm going to rescue Zhang and mark the element.
Let's have you roll overcome.
I'm on an arc, folks. Hang on, I just want to mark my XP. Okay. This is my style element, though. I'm just running in. I'm just going as fast as lightning.
Okay.
11.
What does that look like? The book falls out of his hand, but what does it look like when you rush, when you save Master Shang?
I literally throw the Red Cloud Sword across the room, nail that guard, and I'm already somersaulting over, pulling it out, and turning to face Dragon Fist Killer.
Okay. Dragon Fist Killer has caught the book, and you will see him and rushes to another section of the wall and vanishes through a door. But you have saved Shang. Chung-jae, what do you do?
So I see where this kid is.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if this is like a does he seem to have any martial ability at all? Like, would attacking him be a duel, or?
He is on your scale, sir.
All right, I'm gonna duel him.
Okay, then let's have you go ahead and roll that.
Yeah, and so like they're there chatting, and I've got my arrow pointed at the two of them. and then just like flick the bottom of the bow, you know, and like this, the one that's holding it knocked, I don't even turn, but the bottom of the bow flicks, boom, and it comes at him, and then I'm just running at him.
Yeah. And the cloth comes off. He's, knocking the first arrow aside and trying to, as the other ones come in, let's have you roll that.
You bet. All right. That's style element all the way, baby. All right. Let's see what we got here. Find the right tab. There we go. Okay. That's a 5 plus 3 is an 8.
Okay.
I'm going to burn one of those bonds that I have with Yingling.
Okay.
Whose ass I am pulling out of the fire with this. And that'll get me to a 10 because I get 2 when I spend my bonds. Because I know something about loyalty in the face of suffering.
I'm going to propose a moment here. And if you can tell me whether this works for you. I think that you absolutely will catch him with that arrow on that last thing.
Can I tell you what I was hoping would happen?
Okay.
Which is like I catch him, like pin him to a wall or something, and I've got the arrow up, and like I could just put it through his eye if I want to, and I say to her, leave now, and he lives.
And I think she's already up on you. She's above your
it.
scale.
Yeah,
you've gotten that back, and she realizes the gravity of the situation, and she grabs and kind of pushes you back away, and she is up with this over the wall, and she looks back and she says, tell my daughter I will be coming for her.
All right.
And leaps off into the night.
So I get to, can I mark the XP for showing mercy there?
Absolutely.
Excellent. All right.
Yingling, what do we see of you and in this? Is she had you, and then she sees out of the corner of her eye and she leaps. You see her bound over there, grab this kid and up onto the top and light foots away.
I think Yingling checks, make sure the falling bat's okay, and then he's stumbling out of here trying to find Miss Fang, worried about her. There was something about what that old woman said that scared him.
And I think this is a good place for us to stop. You've rescued your father, your uncle. The book is not in Eyeless Waterfall students' hands. You've learned something about her, but you have taken the brunt of this fight, and Master Zhang desperately needs rest and recovery. Does that seem okay?
Seems okay.
Let's 3 XP, everybody.
Yay! Now
I do it that way.
Now I leveled up.
What, Stephen? I'm going to finish with you. Like, what do you look like now after this incident?
Oh, I'm just battered and bleeding and bruised, and I just look like crap.
Leaning on your staff and trying to keep yourself upright.
Yeah.
All right, we will take up with this next time in the wake. We will do a rest and recovery scene, and we will take up with the next steps of this conflict. Does that seem cool?
Sure.
Okay, I am going to stop this recording.